Hi everybody, I'm making this video very early in the morning, as I like to do a lot of times. It's not even quite 7 a.m. It's about 3 minutes to 7, and that's going to kind of factor in a little bit to what I'm going to discuss here. And you might notice me talking a little whispery. I'm trying to be quiet because I have neighbors, or a neighbor, upstairs from me right now, and this person doesn't really get up until late, which is a good thing for me because I'm an early bird and I like to get up. I got up a little after 5 this morning, that's a bit too much even for me. I'm happy with 6. But something's been on my mind lately, and the subject is about compact discs, CDs, and most notably the idea that I'm starting to come back into it again. And I'll tell you how that came about. I mean, those that have been around here for a while watching my channel know the situation. I gave up compact discs in 2011 and got into vinyl again, and as you can see, I've amassed a pretty big collection. But when it comes to actually listening to the music, it's not very convenient for me at this particular time. I live in an apartment, as I say, it's a complex with neighbors around, and I moved in here a year and a half ago, roughly now, and it's been really difficult for me to get quality time listening to my records. And that's because, as I say, I don't want to annoy anybody. Unlike a lot of people these days, I try to be considerate, and I try to make sure that I'm not burdening anybody else. So I don't like playing music where I think that somebody else is going to hear it or be upset about it, or disturbing the peace. So my setup here, this is just a little computer desk, and I have this camera resting on a speaker. I have 2 medium-sized speakers, not big, on the desk left and right in front of me. If I have my turntable up here, if I wanted to play a record right now, I can play a record, and I can play it very quietly. I probably play it more quiet than I need to, but just for my own sense of calmness and not disturbing anybody, I play it low. But that's not really the way to hear records, is it? I mean, I think you get more fidelity out of it, you get more quality when you play records a little louder. And if it was my own house, I would do that, or if the apartment situation was different. Anyway, so lately, more than ever, I've been going back to playing compact discs and playing them in my car. I love the way CDs sound in the car. There's been people in the past that used to ride me and say, oh, that's not the optimal way to hear music, I mean, that's a terrible system. I don't know, in my car, the system sounds great. I don't know, and I can make it as loud as I want. The volume in the car goes up to 35, and I don't mean to make this sound like a skit right out of Spinal Tap, but when they go up to 11 or whatever it was. I can put that thing on the max, 35, cranking it, and I can go out there right now, 7 o'clock in the morning, and drive around and blast it. And beautiful day out there, you have the nice scenery, you can go take the music anywhere with you, which is why a lot of people like MP3 players and that stuff. I like MP3s, I guess. I mean, I don't really have one, but I could see doing that as a kind of a supplement to your actual collection, but I'm still a physical media guy at heart. So getting back to CDs, yeah. So lately, more than ever, I've been relying on taking a lot of my compact disc collection, and I've been playing them in the car. And it makes me think back to when I first started collecting CDs and what I loved about them back in the day. Now, this is the first CD I ever bought. I still have it here. And I played this in the car yesterday. It's Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Good Music. I bought this in late 1986. That's when I got my first CD player. And there was no going back. Once I started playing this, and I heard the clarity, how crisp it was, the old thing. No pops, no crackles, no distortion or anything. Just clean music, straight through, with no hitch. And the idea that you didn't have to flip the record over, the idea that all the tracks were together, it really appealed to me. And back in 1986, I told everybody that I knew, all my friends that still collected records and weren't sold right away. I said, look, this thing's going to take over. This is going to replace vinyl one day. I mean, records have had it, I'm convinced. And the only thing that you missed was the bigger artwork, right? So, at the time, I really thought this was phenomenal. I knew it was going to take over. It was only a matter of time, and it did. For a period of time, we had CDs taking over. And kind of funny now, when you think that CDs now are not popular at all, really. CDs have died out a lot. Right now, what's happening with CDs is what happened to vinyl in like 1990. You know, in the early vinyl. I never thought vinyl would come back, and it did. Maybe CDs will come back one day. But being able to listen to this in the car at the volume I wish, and if by chance there's a track I don't feel like hearing, I just skip it. You know, one button, the arrow, right over to the next track. Those are the conveniences of why I got to like CDs in the first place. So right now I'm wondering, am I starting to get back into compact disc over vinyl? Well, I wouldn't worry out there for anybody that, you know, loves watching me with my new vinyl finds. I still love vinyl, and I think right now the reason that I'm so interested in vinyl is I after being away from it for so long. I mean, I was 25 years from 1986 to 2011 when I got back into records. I think that 25-year hiatus really made me appreciate the format of vinyl. You know, vinyl. What I like about it now is, after being away so long from it, is the artwork, the interaction. I like that you have to kind of care for a record, clean it up, put it in a nice sleeve, outer sleeve if you're collecting and trying to keep the jacket looking pristine. I like that. And I like that you have to put the needle on. It's more of a interaction. It's more of a experience, not just hearing the music, which is always the number one thing. People say hearing the music. It's the music, not the medium. That's what's important. I don't agree. That's just my opinion. In my opinion, to me, the medium and packaging and all that is every bit as entertaining and enjoyable as the actual music itself. Now, it's hard to believe. I just realized when I was setting out to make this video that since this disc came out in 1986 and it was the first disc that I ever bought, it's been 30 years. This disc is 30 years old. That brings me up to another topic. A lot of people think that compact discs don't last, or something happens to them, they start skipping, or the music disappears after a while, or something like that. They just go dead. I've never had that experience. I think I speak for a lot of people who said that same thing. I mean, I don't really understand that. I mean, this is the first disc I ever bought. When I played it in the car the other day, it sounded as crisp and fresh, no groove damage, no wearing out, obviously, as the first day, 30 years. There's not a scratch on the back. I mean, you have to know how to handle things. I mean, I never touch the playing surface. I mean, this has never been touched. You just simply put it back on the spindle like that. It's not hard. I mean, you see people, and my girlfriend's good for this too, just leaves CDs laying around upside down, unstacked on top of each other, and there's scratches all over them. Any kind of media that you're interested in, if you're interested in records or if you're interested in CDs, cassette tapes, whatever, are going to continue to sound pretty good, I think, if you take care of them. You have to know how to handle them. It seems like basic 101, right? Basic common sense. You'd be surprised how many people don't take care of their stuff. Anyway, so I don't buy that nonsense that, compact discs after a certain period of time just start skipping and stuttering and sputtering, and the content just vanishes and they won't play anymore. I don't know where that comes from. If other people have had experiences, please explain to me. But I've got a lot of other CDs just like this that I bought in the same time, 86, 87. That sounded as good as the day that I first got them. Alright, so now, where else do I want to go with this video? What am I trying to say here? As I say, it's not going to replace vinyl for me with CDs, but, just like I did with vinyl when I was getting out of it. I sold a lot of vinyl back in the day. I sold a lot of CDs too. Right now, I have mostly, no surprise, Beatles and solo Beatles CDs for collector's purposes, mainly. And a few choice artists that I like: Elvis, Joan Jett, some Tom Petty, greatest hits. I've held on to some, but I got rid of, seems like 100 or more CDs, and I kind of regret that, because just as an example, in preparation for this video, I was looking for a greatest hits double CD that I had once had by Neil Diamond. That's a subject for another video, but I'm getting into Neil Diamond lately, and for some reason his voice is really starting to appeal to me, and I just really want to start a Neil Diamond collection on vinyl. I have a few records, but I want to do more. And I said, I wonder if I still have my Neil Diamond double hit CD, because it's so much more convenient. This is the 4th of July weekend, and I'm available, I'm off from work. I can go in my car and I can play these Neil Diamond songs and learn them, the ones that I'm not that familiar with, other than the main ones, main tracks. And I looked over there on my CD shelf, and I didn't see it. So the Neil Diamond CD set must have been a casualty of something that I sold, along with a lot of others. So the good news about that is, as you all know, who go to thrift stores or record stores or anywhere, that CDs are very cheap now. You can get CDs for $1, $2, $3. This is the time, folks, as we all know, this is the time to get out there and buy your CDs. If you want to make a CD collection, get out there and do it, because CDs are cheap. I think there'll be a CD resurgence at some point, just as there was a vinyl resurgence. But right now, in my life, because of the situation of this apartment that I'm in, and I don't know when it's ever going to change. I don't see it changing anytime in the near future. I'm going to be here for a while, I think. In order to really gain enjoyment of the music when I want to hear it, it's got to be, for the most part, compact discs in the car. I'm going to try to have more time for records when my neighbor is out. I mean, I'm lucky that there's only one person living upstairs from me. There are other apartments in this complex where they have 2 or more people in each apartment. Some people have children. Can you imagine? I mean, I can't imagine what I would do up there if, instead of one young guy, I had a husband and wife and some kids squawking. I don't know what the hell I would do. But luckily he's out a lot. He's not here a lot. He goes out for most of the day, and a lot of nights too. So there's time here when he's not around. What I actually do is, it's funny, at the front door I have a little peephole you can peek through, and his has an SUV, of course. You know how I feel about SUVs and oversized vehicles, but he has one out there, and I just peep through the hole, and I can see right in front of the stoop when it's gone or not. When it's gone, then I can do what I want. I might have a couple hours here to just crank the music. So it's not a total loss of vinyl ability here, if you will. I can play vinyl if I do it when he's not home. But I think you know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of getting interested in compact disc again. And let's talk about the sound. All right. Now, there's been this war, what sounds better, vinyl or CD? Now, I think they both have their advantages. After getting back acquainted with vinyl again, I see what everybody said. I mean, back in 1986, when I was first getting into this CD, I could not even contemplate the notion that vinyl sounded better, because to me that was just ridiculous. But now, having been away from it for 25 years and getting back into records, I realized what everybody was talking about: the warmth of the sound of vinyl, the more real sound. It's not digitized. This is all digital. As good as it sounds, it's digital. It doesn't sound as natural or warm as vinyl. Warm is always the word that vinyl enthusiasts use. I never understood it until I was away and then went back. So I do prefer the sound of vinyl, I think. But there's a certain cleanliness too to CDs, and of course you're not going to get any distortion or any kind of yeah, I don't know, sputtering and crackling, as you know. So they both have their advantages. You know, it's funny to put this on and to hear like every drum cymbal sounds really crisp and sharp. You know, you can hear every little detail where maybe you missed it on the vinyl. I remember distinctly back in 1986, first getting the record, because in those days the records came out first, and you had to wait for the CD to come out. So if you really wanted to hear a new album, like I did with this one, I couldn't wait to hear it. You had to buy the vinyl, and then you'd play it. And at first, the vinyl just you got to the point where it sounded so distorted to me then 30 years ago, and it just sounded so I don't know, staticky, that you couldn't wait to get the crisp, clean sounding CD. So anyway, I'm a fan of both CD and vinyl. Vinyl has kind of taken over for me because, as I say, I've come to appreciate the physicality of it, you know, and the interaction with experiencing it. But no, I'm coming back to CDs. The question at this point I'm going to end with is, I wonder whether I should start rebuying a lot of CDs. They're cheap enough, $1 to $4 or $5 each. Should I be going out and buying tons of CDs now to play? I don't know. I'm not a rich man. You know, contrary to how it may look, I try to budget myself. And I'm so busy buying records, I don't know if I want to go through this, you know, again, of vinyl compact disc now. But I want to hear any thoughts on this. I want to hear what anybody thinks. Again, I feel like it's been a wishy-washy, kind of all over the place presentation here. It's still early in the morning. I didn't get my thoughts really that clear on it. But I still like this. I think I'm going to go out in a couple of hours, maybe get some breakfast, and I think I'm going to put a CD in and crank it.